Meeting's now in order. Let's go around the table and identify ourselves for the record. Fred, we'll start with you.
Dyson.
Amy Demboski.
John Bell.
Felix Rivera.
Dick Craney.
Forrest Dunbar.
Pete Peterson.
Could you guys identify yourselves for the record, please? If you're on this commission.
Oh, yes, hello, I'm Sharon Shamar, I'm a Public Safety Advisory Commissioner.
Okay. Anybody else here from your commission?
Yes. Can you play mine?
Sharon Jackson.
Okay.
And
Welcome
we
to me.
also have Dave Moore, he just stepped out momentarily, he's the Vice Chair of the Commission.
Okay. Well, the reason we have this commission meeting is we've not heard from you guys for over a year. We'd like to know what you're working on. And as you can see, there's a public safety problem in Anchorage. We just haven't heard from you, and we'd like to know, what are you guys doing now? And how we can help you? And what do you see your role being?
So I will open the door for Dave.
Hi, Dave. Come on up forward.
Okay.
Sharon, are you the president of it?
No, I'm just a member, I have been the chair.
Who is the chairman of this one?
It's a man named Nick Danger. He's not here.
I'm the vice chair.
Okay. How many are on your commission?
7. I think we just had a resignation recently, so we're down to 6.
Okay.
One of our issues has been difficulty maintaining a steady active membership and achieving quorum.
Okay, Sharon, since I know you're involved with the court system or the university, can you tell us what you guys envision your responsibility as a commission?
Okay, well, for me, the role of the commission is to advise the mayor and the assembly on matters of concern to the public relating to public safety. So we function as kind of a liaison between the government apparatus and the citizens and the residents of Anchorage.
Okay. What have you guys been working on? Dave, you said you're vice chairman?
Yes.
What have you guys been working on?
Well, the most recent item that we've been working on is the response for the community patrol questioning the reason why they shouldn't be extended down into South Anchorage. And I know that our chair has been trying to get in contact with them and know who are recently. That's the most recent issue that we've discussed. Over the years, we've been covered numerous kinds of issues, including bar break. We've had public testimony on that. But recently, in recent times, we haven't had as much public communication I haven't seen. And it might be due to the fact that the communication between the public and the commission is not as strong as it would be. For example, we're not, if you were to look on the website, it tells the public that we're meeting at the fire station facility training area. And now we're meeting here. So things, that kind of communication could improve.
Have you, as a commission, have you guys been coming to our Public Safety Commission meeting that Mr. Croft is the head of? Have you guys been attending that?
I don't think we have recently. I'm not sure. I know that I had.
Ms. Jackson, do you know? Have you guys been attending it?
So I'm the newest member on the board. Actually, it's time for me to renew my commission. But knowing that these meetings occur, it is very important, and I will make it my business to be at these meetings. The last meeting that we did have, we were talking about the issues that we heard today. And our next meeting, we are working on a letter that we are going to put together and present it to the assembly. So that's on our next agenda.
Chris?
To the vice chair, you said something that wasn't clear, that you were working on asking Community Patrol South. Do you mean the Anchorage Safety Patrol, or do you mean like community patrols that are?
Oh, I'm sorry, the ones in which.
The safety patrol.
The safety patrol. Yeah.
Right.
We were in communication with the fire department, police department on that issue, and we were answering questions. So, and I think that the last resolve was that we would communicate with them directly, and our chair was trying to find out more about that. But, yeah, that there was I can't remember the boundary, was it Tudor? Yeah, anything south of Tudor is out of their area.
It's international to the west of the Seward Highway and Tudor to the east. Everything north is patrol, everything south.
APD.
For the APD.
And the issue about how on a call that the fire department has to respond with an engine plus a paramedic unit and a APD patrol officer, opposed to just having the community patrol get there.
Ms. Dombrowski, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Whenever I work with a commission or a board, I always like to try to outline our expectations and try to outline their needs and see if we can bring them together. And the reason, I don't know if anybody's really explained this to the commission, but I want to just candidly tell you, through the whole debate of crime and the escalation of crime, the perceived impacts of different state legislation or what the city is doing, whether it's regarding homeless or whether it's regarding, just crime and safety. We haven't seen anything from the commission. So there's a number of assembly members who are questioning what's the point of the commission. And I think there really is a valuable point, because I remember on different, whether it's fire-related issues or things, I know the commission does weigh in, and there is this vast amount of knowledge that comes. Your reputation precedes you. When I got my justice degree, I didn't have a chance to take your class, but I've always heard really good things. So my point is, we have a broad base of knowledge. So what I'm looking for as an assembly member moving forward is I want to understand the challenges that you guys are facing, whether it is retention of board members, whether it is lack of municipal support, whatever that is, I want to be able to help with that. An effective tool we have been able to use in the past is for the chair to assign an assembly member kind of as like an ex officio member to assist the commission. So not only does the communication improve, but sometimes it's those little things like, okay, let's make sure that we're getting your website updated. So maybe I know who to call to make sure that gets done. Would that be helpful to the commission?
Absolutely.
Mr. Chair, not that I don't have
Ma'am,
enough to do,
you
but
donated your
I will
time.
volunteer to
I'll
help
accept that.
if they'd like.
Amy, I will accept that. Because I think you can help. I think we can work together. Yes, Sharon.
I have some specific suggestions about, I've been on this commission for many years, and there were times where it was quite effective. It ebbs and flows in terms of my perceived effectiveness. I was personally annoyed that for several months we didn't have a representative from APD coming. Now we have Nora, who's sort of on board, and I believe she's the APD liaison and the staff person. But there was a time where the chief came, or the deputy chief, and then perhaps in APD's eyes, the usefulness of the commission was diminished because the rank of the people who came to represent APD got lower and lower until finally nobody came at all. It was asked whether we have someone from the commission come to the public safety committee meeting. In the past, we've tried to do that, but it has been pointed out earlier today that it's hard sometimes for people to pick up their jobs and go for an hour and a half in the middle of the workday. Many of us are working, and we don't always have time in our schedules to do that. So I do like the idea of an assembly liaison who would come. And in the past, Paul Honeman did that for about a year or so.
Ms. Dabowski will be your representative from the assembly.
That's fabulous. So we'll see you there next Wednesday.
Let her know where and when.
It's here at 5:30. 6 o'clock.
Second Wednesday.
And now,
She got that look on her face.
Oh, yeah.
I do want to continue. I have a couple other points. You know, one of the issue is the flow of information that comes from the city, either the assembly or the mayor's office to the commission. It's non-existent. Right? So one thing commissioners sometimes have done in the past is go through the municipal assembly agenda when it comes out and try to identify any issues that may be of concern to the Public Safety Advisory Commission. But then we have to contact the chair and say, of the assembly, and say, please delay any action on these things until we've had a chance to weigh in. But that can slow down your business because we meet once a month. So I think one thing I've been suggesting to people is that as part of sort of the work process, the workflow process, that if there are things that the assembly thinks pertain to public safety, that as part of the routing process, it goes to the commission. We can figure out a way to give timely feedback, but we're just really never asked to give feedback.
Well, we'll see if we can correct that because it's important we ask you guys.
That would be
Mr.
great.
Steele?
Yes. Let me pass for just a second and we'll
Forrest?
see where we go.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I have a first observation and a question for the commission members. So, people, planning and zoning and Transportation Commission, for example, they're generally better attended, partly because they have things that they actually do. They have real powers. And planning and zoning is a little bit more extreme example, but the Transportation Commission, for example, which deals with taxi permits and taxi regulations, obviously people in the taxi industry are there. And so as we think about this commission going forward, if we decide we want to reform it in some way, I think we should think about a way where we could give them an actual task to do, like something that they have the power to do that we obviously would have some final say over, but they, would have some authority. The question I have for you is, even if you didn't have that formal authority yet, something I could see being really useful is as a forum for people to express their concerns, members of the public, much as we had today, and we've had a ton of over the last month of testimony. And I think it's good for the members of the public to come and be able to express themselves and put things on the record. And the fact that you guys are focused on this issue in South Anchorage, while I think it's very valuable, I think kind of indicates a little bit of disconnect from what seems to be the primary thrust of the public's comments right now. And so my question for you is sort of, what are you going to do so first of all, change the website, right, so that people aren't going to the wrong location. But what else are you going to do or can you do to just open yourselves up and take that public comment and become a forum where members of the public can come and express their public safety concerns? I apologize, it's an unusually long question for me.
That might be a question that has to go back to the commission, because I don't know that three members themselves can answer it.
Well,
Yeah.
if there is a way that we can advertise it, because earlier, like, what was stated, business owners can't leave during the day
Sure.
to come in. So if there is a way that we can get communication now that there is an evening, forum for them to come to, I think that would make a big difference.
Can I ask a quick follow-up?
Go ahead, Forrest.
Do you guys have a Facebook page?
No. Wait, comment on Mr. Delmar's remarks that I think it is good to have a public forum.
I know.
An evening forum like
It's a worksheet.
Sharon Jackson just said is good. However, if the body has no power whatsoever, it's, we've all experienced as citizens going somewhere, giving our opinion and realizing that the people who are listening were very concerned but really couldn't do anything to help us. And I sort of, when that realization hits you, you think, my time has just been wasted, and it builds levels of disgruntlement towards government services and so on. So I think it's great. I think it would be really awesome if representatives from the bodies who actually can make decisions for their bodies, like I have to give a shout out to Chief LeBlanc here, because he has been a regular attendee at our meetings, and so I appreciate that. But if we don't have people from the bodies that can make decisions or liaise directly with the people who come with their complaints, if it's just citizens listening to them, it's not very effective.
I think that one of the strengths of the commission has been the fact that we've been able to talk directly to the public safety chiefs and address and listen to their reports, their monthly reports, and interact with them and sort of give them our input as far as what we thought, and then we can kind of discuss things like, do we need to bring this to the attention of the mayor or the assembly? And I think that was in my opinion, that was kind of like what our function was. Is we were listening to the issues of the city, and then as a group discussing it. And we did discuss a lot more than this South Anchorage issue like that. We talked about everything from SB 91. The last meeting we had a long discussion on that, and how we weren't really in a position to resolve something on that, and how what our function was. We redefined our function, and I think that there's a lot of power in just us as a group discussing these issues, and then deciding whether we need to get feedback as a resolution, or whether we would just interact with the public safety chiefs.
Mr. Dyson?
Yeah, thank you. When I saw this a couple of weeks ago, I was looking at the mission statement, and it appears to me that it's pretty comprehensive and really kind of the point. I also have a sense that you guys have been crippled by, not having all the members and so on. Also, I would think that you're limited a bit, because quite a bit of what needs to be done is research. And you're all private citizens that have a life and so on, and not wanting to give our people a lot more work. But indeed, the clerk's office has a ready hand on how to get information and so on. And I encourage you to get them to help you get the information that you need. And they have a bit of research capacity. So I'd encourage you to use that. I read the mission statement. Oh, and one more thing. I think it would be useful for us to put you guys on a notification list when there's ordinances before the legislature or one of its subcommittees that all relate to things in your purview, for us to kind of automate that so you can get at it, and you can get a notice of what's coming down the pike, as opposed to your having to, keep watching to find out what's going on. I think we owe it to you to get you that information. And also the Criminal Justice Reform Commission, has regular meetings and so on, an extensive website. And I encourage you to, I think I can give you a link, but I encourage you to watch that. And their meetings are quite open. And there's an amazing amount of information on their website, and lots of materials to get at. I don't presume to speak for the rest of my colleagues, but I anticipated from when I read in your mission statement for you guys to be proactive and kind of seeing what's going on and kind of be alarmed for us and say, wait a minute, these things are happening and it's a significant problem. You guys need to look at this. I don't think I'm on a line for telling you that, but it might be beyond the capacity of what you're equipped to do. So, one thing I know about this gang of folks, we want to be as helpful as we can and eliminate as many barriers to your being effective as we can. But it's already been said, what you're doing could be exceedingly valuable. Sounds like you've been doing some pretty good things out in the community and stuff, but I want to encourage you to, that this is, particularly at this time, more than 85, I know in the last 25 years, what's in your purview is really important in the community, needs your help. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. John?
Well, I think, Sharon, in your statement, you sold yourself a little bit short. You say we don't have any real power, so people you don't have any juice. But in fact, that's not true at all. And you know, through community councils, they have no real power either. But we pay attention to them. What does a community council think on this issue? We ask that all the time. They have no real staff or support. I mean, they get some things mailed to them, but they have to check the agendas. They're posted online. It just takes a few minutes, scan the titles, and see, oh, that might be of interest. And you click on it, you got all the valuable information. So it would be nice if you had things handed to you, but I say check that agenda every couple of weeks and see where we're up to. Some other examples, the Freight Advisory Committee has no official role, but they were handed a mobility study. It was high school level work. It was junk. And they got fired up and they turned it around and they made it a much better product. The Budget Advisory Committee, I don't know that they have any real power officially either, but there's a 10-cent gas tax likely to go on the ballot that came through them.
Actually, it doesn't go on the ballot. It's up to the assembly. It's 6 votes to the assembly.
It's in play, but
Excise
you are
tax.
as powerful as you make yourself. You tackle the tough issues, and you send us a letter. You can call the resolution, whatever you want. Send us an email. We're looking for that kind of information. And there's been no shortage of crime forums in this town. And I'm imagining that many of you, maybe all of you, have gone to those. I'd say when you do, make it known that someone from the Public Safety Advisory Committee is there, and then the public knows, wow, you exist, you're here listening to these things. So you can become whatever you want to be as far as getting stuff done and having influence.
That's very motivating.
Amy?
Thank you. And I don't want to turn this into the assembly is harping on volunteer commissioners. I want to turn this into how is it we can make it more successful, and what is it we need to do to help you to re-energize the commission's communication with us and whatever it is you want to do. So when I look at the challenges from the assembly standpoint and the challenges from the commission standpoint, I really think it comes down to, in part, just communication, in part, staff support. And I clearly see the commission needs some staff support. And if that means, right now, you're going to know a lot of things that are going to be going on because I sit on the Public Safety Committee, so I can tell you directly all the things you heard today that Eric's talking about, all these little nuggets, you're going to hear before it actually becomes an issue. So if you hear us investigating a certain type of topic, there might be ideas that you funnel back and say, hey, this is what we think you should look at this or this. But part of that comes back to staff support, I think. And in part, I'm looking at it like, okay, well, I'll take on that challenge. Because if it means that I just have to write up an assembly resolution once a month and say, hey, I met with the Criminal Justice Commission and this is what, or the Public Safety Commission, this is what they are looking at. If it helps the information flow, I'm happy to do that. I just want to make sure that we're meeting your needs, so in turn, you can meet our needs. Because I think it is a symbiotic relationship. Even though it's at 6 o'clock, I will be 15 minutes late to your meeting, but I'll broadcast from Anchorage that day, so I'll make it.
That's fine. I've got Chris. We've got to get out of here in just a minute because they want to turn this room into another meeting.
Yeah, just a quick
Chris,
question on
quick.
the process. At the meeting where we discussed the extension of the sunset dates, there was a task to Mr. Dunbar to identify potential candidates to add to the committee so that you're fully strengthened. And I'm just curious if there's been any movement on that.
Yeah, I submitted 6 names, including Butch Moore, which was suggested by several of you. I
It's
found
done.
a bunch of names,
Thank
and I
you.
sent them to Jason. I haven't heard anything back from Mr. Balkenstadt, but
Okay.
he was the one that the administration identified as being the person head of the commission. So,
Thank you.
Mr. Dyson. I know, we'll be out of here in a second, Mr. Mayor.
You all ought to be able to get counsel from the state, for the city's attorney general, or attorney, and of course, from the public safety folks, but they should be able to be resources for you. Yeah.
I'm going to end this meeting because we've got another group coming in here. I just wanted to say, you're the most important committee we've got right now. Anchorage is burning. As Rome is burning, ink is burning. When you saw what's going on here, we spent 4 hours listening to public testimony on SB 91/54. This has the public's attention. So whatever we can do to help you guys, work with us on this. Because public safety right now is everybody's concern. There's not a day that goes by that we don't get a message, some aspect of public safety. We need your help to make this work correctly. So let us know what assets we can give you.
Communication, that's all I've got to say. Us to them, you guys to us. We need to know what you're doing, you need to know what we're doing. And, whatever we can do to help that. And, Amy will be.
Ms. Nabashi will be a great representative with you.
And I think it's important that
She's
we-
an activist.
I think it's, well.
Fully empowered.
Community organizer, if you
I'm
will.
opinionated.
She's an activist.
I truly want to say thank you for your service. I know how long it takes or how many hours out of the day it takes to serve on a board or commission. And the topic we're dealing with is something that's very important to a lot of us that live in the community. And your service is valuable, and I just want you to know that I appreciate it.
The term is, I will be sending my application to review my term. So thank you for this meeting.
Well, thanks for coming to meet with us. I know it's a short notice, but I appreciate you being here. This is over with.